Welcome back to Just Take 3. Last night, my little nephew messaged me on Facebook Messenger and was asking my thoughts on the band. And I'm more upset with the band and what it truly caused at this moment in time, and what I was at the announcement of the band. I still have to say on record, I don't agree with bands in general. I just don't. I think Commander should be a true internal format. I do think that's what it should be. Okay, first off, I don't agree with bands. I don't agree with cutting cards is very powerful from the format when you're in a format playing. And a lot of these games goes for an hour to 2 hours at a time anyway. I do like the competitive side where it goes down quite a bit. 5, 10, maybe 20-minute games. I'd rather play multiple games of Commander, and I would one game. And yeah, I think Commander should be a free-for-all. And I think when you try to justify it for casual players or people who financially can't afford them cards, and you try to justify banning because of that reasoning, I think you're hurting the format in generally. That's my original thoughts on these bans. But I'm more upset with how the community acted. With the death threats and the wanting to hurt people, and to make me physically agree with the professor on a lot of his outlooks. Nobody deserved that. Okay, first off, nobody deserved their life being threatened because they voted to ban a card. Okay, if you got that mad, okay, let's be truthful. If you got that mad where you was want somebody to die or be hurt or wish harm to their family because you got hurt financially in a game of cardboard, okay, that's your fault. That is not their fault. And the truth of the matter is, when you take these financial risks with money you really didn't have to spend, that's nobody's fault but yours. Okay, us be adults and agree on that. That's your fault. You spent money you did not have at the time. You just did. Okay? You can still play at the end of the day with these cards. You can still play true casual games of Magic. Or your play group can play tabletop Commander, if you want to call it that. Any true card in Magic still can be played today. Now, you can't go to a sanctioned event and play with that card at the end of the day. You just can't. But to want to harm somebody and physically make people scared for their life because they cost you money, you're in the wrong. at the end of the day. We should be adults, young, old adults. And we should not be taking everything this personal to want to harm somebody for really no reason. That's my thoughts on this. We should be a community, no matter race, sexual preference. We should not judge anybody at all. This is a very good game. You know, it's to be truthful, I have trouble reading. I've always, from all through school, I really felt like I just got passed through. When I graduated high school, I probably shouldn't have graduated. That's reality. I have been able to read better since playing Magic the Gathering and I've ever have in my life. I've met some very awesome people playing Magic in our local play group. Look us up. It's Appalachian TCG. You can find us on Facebook. If you're in or around Eastern Kentucky, we do host events. We do play, and we do host events, and we play. We're not sanctioned. Actually, our president is actually selling cards. Check his websites out. He's on, he's Smango. Look him up. Find the podcast, Appalachian TCG Podcast, where me and him, we talk about our opinions. I disagree with some of the stuff he says, and I know he disagrees with some of my stuff I talk about. He is 100% in favor of these bans. I'm not. So I kind of expect the next podcast is going to be kind of interesting to watch. But we're supposed to be a community. At the end of the day, we're supposed to be a community. We should respect everybody for gender, sex, whatever, color. We need to be better people. And people just needs to pull themselves up from their bootstraps, dust themselves off, and if you still want these cards, buy these cards. Okay? There's nothing or nobody telling you you can't play with these cards. Never again. There's nobody telling you you can't buy these cards or collect these cards. Nobody. The only thing they're really put out there, they're in bans. And let's just be truthful. You can't go to sanctioned events. You can't enter into the pro leagues. You can't try to make a climb with them decks in to be a pro player. Your LGSs who does sanction events and leagues, they're not want to let you play in them. But nobody says you can't play on your local play group. Nobody says you can't play in spell table or you and your buddies get together and play. Nobody's saying you can't play there with them cards. You just can't play competitive Magic with these cards. With Rule Zero, you can still play with these cards. Just chill out. This is a game. You're buying cardboard. So if you make bad financial decisions with your own money, that's your fault. That's not Papa Hasbro. That's not Wizards of the Coast. That's not the Commander Advisory Group. That is not the Commander Rules Committee fault. That's your fault. And if you bought it because you could not financially afford it, that's your fault. But again, I don't agree with the bans, but I've never wished any of them physically to be harmed. That was uncalled for. And just to say that and to agree with the professor and all that, because a lot of stuff I do agree with the professor on, but there's a lot of stuff he goes on talking about capitalism and stuff like that I don't agree with. But when it's this serious of a matter, this was uncalled for. Yet everyone should be ashamed to threaten somebody over a card. You shouldn't. You know, if you're that mad, sell everything, get out of Magic. Do better.